Hello everyone, this is part 3 of a 3-part video series on foreign animal disease preparedness from the Iowa Pork Industry Center at Iowa State University. The topic of this video is how can you protect your herd? In this video, we will talk about traceability, monitoring for the disease, and protecting your herd through enhanced biosecurity. During an outbreak, it will be critical to be able to track movements of animal, people, vehicles, and equipment that could potentially spread the disease for 2 reasons. If you are infected with a foreign animal disease, traceability could help find where the disease may have come from or could have spread to. If you are not infected with the foreign animal disease, traceability could help show that you are not connected to an infected premises. In an outbreak, the Premises Identification Number, or PIN, will allow producers to be notified if they are in a regulatory control area, speeding up a response. During an outbreak, if you are located in a control area but are not infected with the disease, the PIN can also link test results and other important information to a premises, which may allow a movement permit to be issued sooner. Start associating your PIN with animal movements and diagnostic lab submissions today. If you already have a PIN for each site, please verify that the street address in the system is the actual location of the animals through the National Pork Board verification tool. On this website, you can enter your PIN and it will give you the address associated with that PIN. If it is incorrect, please contact your state animal health official to correct it. Common mistakes are having the wrong street address associated with the PIN, having multiple sites registered with the same PIN, or having the PIN associated with an office address instead of the location of the animals. If you do not have a PIN for each site that are over a quarter mile apart, please request a PIN from your state animal health officials. Go to www.iowaagriculture.gov and search Premises ID in the top right-hand corner of the website to download the form and apply for a free PIN from the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship. For states other than Iowa, information can be found through Secure Pork Supply website. Go to the Pork Producers tab and click Premises ID number. Then click State Animal Health Official, where you can select your state. Viruses can spread on contaminated vehicles, equipment, and footwear. In an outbreak of a foreign animal disease, regulatory officials may ask producers to provide accurate traceback information to identify potential exposure that your pigs have had to the virus. Keep records of all animal, people, vehicle, and equipment movements into and out of the site, including the source and destination PIN when possible. Having your records electronic will speed up finding the web of where the virus could have been and where it probably has not been. The question to ask is, how fast can you prove that you are or are not connected to an infected site? Monitoring for the disease includes observing clinical signs, recording your animal observations, knowing who to report to if suspicious signs are observed, and training caretakers.
If African swine fever or another foreign animal disease reaches Iowa, everyone will need to work together to find, control, and eradicate the disease. Early identification of any foreign animal disease is critical in the stamping out and eradicating phase. It is critical that everybody in Iowa is prepared ahead of time to identify foreign animal diseases so we have the ability to stamp out and eradicate the disease.
In this section, we will talk about protecting your herd through enhanced biosecurity.
Every farm has the ability to control what comes on off their farm and the ability to make sure disease does not get on their farm. Ultimately, the good biosecurity practices you've developed now can be one of your best defenses against a foreign animal disease.
A few ways you can protect your herd by enhancing your biosecurity are designating someone to be in charge of biosecurity, implementing additional biosecurity measures today, writing a site-specific biosecurity plan, and providing additional training for caretakers, visitors, and service personnel. First, let's start with designating a biosecurity manager. During the high-path avian influenza outbreaks, they found it was important to have someone designated to be responsible for biosecurity on each site. The biosecurity manager is responsible for writing the biosecurity plan with collaboration of their herd veterinarian, ensuring biosecurity training, communicating biosecurity protocols with anyone coming onto the farm, ensuring compliance to those protocols, and reviewing and updating the biosecurity plan. The Secure Pork Supply Plan provides resources to help producers protect their herd from foreign animal disease exposure. It is the result of years of collaboration between the pork industry, universities, states, and USDA, and is funded by the USDA and the Pork Checkoff. Producers can evaluate how frequently inputs and outputs move on to and off of the site, and what the level of risk is for each of those movements. Examples of inputs or outputs include animals, supplies, feed, people, carcass removal, fuel and propane delivery, package delivery, and garbage removal. Producers are encouraged to decide if some routine movements could be modified or additional biosecurity measures added in order to reduce the risk of the virus coming onto the farm. Reducing traffic flow around the barns can minimize potential risk of bringing the virus in contact with your pigs. A few examples could be locking barn doors and farm gates, limiting frequency of traffic coming onto the farm, moving garbage or supply delivery further away from the pigs, and minimizing cross-traffic of vehicles and people. One concept to focus on for enhancing your biosecurity would be through enhancing your line of separation. The line of separation is a barrier separating the dirty and potential sources of infection from the clean areas. For animals housed indoors, the line of separation is the walls of the building. Crossing the line of separation should only occur through LOS access points and requires following appropriate biosecurity measures like a shower or change of boots and coveralls. Let's look at this shower and facility. In the entryway here is the door for one of the showers and for the supply entry. An example of an additional biosecurity measure would be a line or a bench on the floor. In this sow farm, employees put on plastic booties as they come into the door of the barn. Then they take off their shoes on the dirty side of the bench using these boot jacks so they keep their hands clean. Then they proceed to the shower in their stocking feet. So here we see multiple layers of protection even before the full shower and change of clothes. Going back to our sow farm entryway, now let's look at our supply entry. Smaller items can be passed through this window and larger items can go through this door. To add additional layers of protection, we could use a disinfectant, remove all cardboard and outer packaging, or restrict any unnecessary items from coming into the farm. Additionally, you can add layers by implementing a perimeter buffer area as an additional line of defense. This buffer can help decrease the viral load and reduce the risk of the virus entering the building. The area around the buildings is called the perimeter buffer area, or PBA, where both human and vehicle traffic have taken steps to mitigate the potential for contamination. Crossing the PBA should only occur through PBA access points. At this farm, they made the PBA visual with a rope strung between rods in 5-gallon buckets with cement in the bottom of the bucket. With a visual PBA, everyone knows where the line is and that they need to follow the biosecurity procedures before crossing the line. This minimizes cross-traffic between dirty traffic like tire tracks or street shoes and clean traffic. Here is an example of how the LOS and the PBA might be drawn for a sow farm. The perimeter buffer area serves as a buffer or outer controlled boundary to minimize contamination near the buildings. The line of separation is the walls of the building. Appropriate biosecurity procedures need to be followed in order to cross both the PBA and the LOS. When drawing the PBA, producers need to think through the best placement of the line based on all the inputs and outputs of the farm. A larger PBA could provide more protection from the disease, but is also harder to implement, especially in the winter weather, since any vehicle crossing the PBA must be cleaned and disinfected to reduce the risk of bringing the virus into the buffer area. For this farm, 2 different options could look like this. The one on the left is a large area which would require all feed and live haul trucks to be cleaned and disinfected in order to come into the PBA. The one on the right would allow feed trucks to come onto the site without being cleaned and disinfected. Another way to protect your herd is to have a site-specific biosecurity plan which explains how the site meets all biosecurity measures. It's important to have a plan for each site because each site has a unique layout, traffic flow, and workers with different personalities. Resources are available at securepork.org. Here you can find a biosecurity checklist, customizable templates, a biosecurity manual, and instructions for drawing your site map. You can use this biosecurity self-assessment checklist to determine which areas would be most beneficial for you to focus on when enhancing your biosecurity. The checklist covers biosecurity manager and written plan, training, protecting the pig herd, vehicles and equipment, personnel, animal and semen movement, carcass disposal, manure management, rodent, wildlife, and other animal control, and feed. These are also the same categories in the biosecurity plan templates. For biosecurity procedures to be followed, everyone coming onto the site needs to be trained. To protect your herd, set up extra training for your caretakers. Go over all biosecurity procedures with visitors, and communicate procedures with all service personnel, truck drivers, and anyone else coming onto the farm. Go over with them if they can bring in their tools, and if so, what procedures they must follow in order to do so. Help them understand what needs to be done in order to drive on the farm or come into the barn, and how much downtime is required for this given site. Another helpful tool for training is GlowGerm. It can be used to simulate a virus or bacteria and glows under a black light. You can sprinkle it on the dirty side of the line of separation, have your employees cross the line of separation with their normal procedures, and see if any of the virus made it across to the clean side of the line. Preparing for a foreign animal disease will not happen overnight. It's a process, perhaps similar to the 5 stages of grief. Stage 1, denial. This cannot be real. Stage 2, anger. All these solutions are just stupid and impractical. Stage 3, bargaining. If only they just keep African swine fever out of the US, then I'll be fine. Stage 4, depression. Nothing I do will ever help, so I just won't do anything at all. Stage 5, acceptance. Okay, let's take one step at a time. What goals can I make for my farm today? We've put together a preparedness checklist to help you prioritize what you can do on your farm to protect your herd from a foreign animal disease. This checklist can be found on our website. It includes items like verify all pins are connected to the address where the pigs are actually located, enter movement records electronically, and be able to export them if needed. Train all employees on clinical signs of foreign animal diseases. Purchase working thermometers and place them in a barn for caretakers to monitor body temperatures of sick pigs. Evaluate the higher risk items for different approaches to enhance biosecurity and implement these approaches on your farm today. Train your employees, visitors, and delivery and service personnel on the biosecurity plan. Develop a plan for the national movement standstill regarding not being able to move your pigs for 72 hours. You can use this action step prioritization worksheet to select which action item you want to address first. Here you can choose a deadline and mark off when it's completed. Then you are ready to go back and select a few more action items to tackle for your farm. More information can be found on our website at ipic.iastate.edu. Here you can find more information on African swine fever, upcoming workshops, and our new foreign animal disease preparedness guide. On the additional resources page, you can find information on various topics like feed ingredients, feed mill biosecurity, ASF global status, and the USDA response strategy. Thanks for watching.